Before this video actually starts, I prefaced a lot of what I said, but I just want to try and nail every single point all at once. I'm not coming on here acting like a beacon of health. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a trainer. Everything I talk about in this video is simply off of my experience of going to the gym for the last 12 years or whatever, and doing things through trial and error and seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, see what works better than others, going from being extremely fat and bulked up to more lean, and how I did that, things like that. And I tried to simplify it as much as possible. Again, I'm not saying I'm the absolute best thing ever, because I'm not. I look nowhere near as good as an actual fitness influencer, I don't think. And I'm talking about what has worked for me. Take whatever I say if you feel like it is something that could help you, but do not take every single thing that I do and apply it to yourself, because you're probably not going to get the same results. Everybody's different. Everybody has to understand how they feel and know how to listen to their body. But yeah, now we can get into it. Alright, this is going to be a different video than I've made before. But as of not so recently, and by that I mean for the last 12 years of my life, I have been going to the gym consistently. At this point, I feel like I have a thing or two to teach even one person about making progress and things along the lines of actually getting better and getting in better shape. Considering the fact I went from this to this in about a month. And it wasn't with steroids, and it wasn't with any PEDs. I'm prefacing this video by stating once again, I have never, not once in my life, taken a single thing that you cannot walk into the store and buy. The only things that I have taken are creatine, protein, if that even counts as a supplement, and about 14 other things, which I'm gonna go through in this video, none of which are not natural. And also, I mean, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I know myself. I am not suggesting that somebody goes and dumps about 14 pills into their diet every single day right from the rip, because that is not what I did. I slowly built it up over time. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna go through those supplements. I'm gonna have to Google why I even take some of them, because I have forgotten why I take some. I'm just being completely honest. I just know that at some point I was like, I looked at it, I looked it up, and I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be beneficial to me, and just threw it on in there. So the first thing I wanna go over is the whole like bulking and cutting thing. And this is really gonna pertain a lot to men, because women, I mean, somehow I have like a 30-40% demographic of women. That's what YouTube says. I don't know if that's true. But I can't necessarily, like, I feel weird if I ever give advice to women about it, because like I know how guys work. I don't fully know like how women work in the sense of like burning fat and like recovery periods and things like that. Men, you can just push them harder. Like it's just the way that you're wired. But growing up, I was always like a super skinny kid. Like, and genetically, that's just how I am. Like I am naturally, if I didn't like eat the way that I do and go to the gym and train the way that I do, I would naturally be skinnier. And some people are naturally bigger. That's just the way that that works. So pretty much throughout all of high school, like I was going to the gym, and granted, I wasn't doing it the right way. Like I would go to the gym every day, I would do bullshit and like not eat 100% right and things like that. It's just the way that it was. I wasn't fully locked in. I was working out like twice a day too, because I had a weight training class, and then I would go to the gym as well. And then some semesters I had 2 gym classes, so I was working out like 3 times a day. And even to this day, I still overtrain. But I was always overtraining and things like that, of course. Most people do. And I mean, the reason that I do is just because mentally I feel better. Like I am willing to sacrifice some of like the gains. Dude, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta change my battery. I'm willing to leave gains on the table if it means that mentally I get to feel better, just because that's a huge part of the reason that I even work out in the first place. And it is a problem. Like I will feel guilty if I don't go. I try and go pretty much every single solitary day right now. Granted, I don't lift weights every single day. I normally lift like 5 to 6 times a week. I know, that's too much. I get it. But I've also kind of built myself up to that point, and it's not like I'm going in there and PRing every single time that I get in the gym. But I'm also not training so light that I'm not getting sore or anything like that. But to touch on the first point here, I was super skinny growing up, and I wanted to like prove to myself that I could lift heavier weight and I could actually get myself to be like big. So I made myself fat, literally, and all of my friends would constantly make fun of me, which is perfectly fine, by the way. Like it's fine. That's the way that should work. So I went from 130 pounds, I'm about 5'7", 130 pounds. In about 3 months, I put on 30 pounds. I was just eating. So I was hanging around like 160, 165, and then like I kind of stuck around that weight for like a year or year and a half, 2 years, something like that. And then I went from 165, and my absolute heaviest that I ever got, it was end of the day, like dude, this is, my nipple is just like, it's just a comfortable shirt, okay? I'm not trying to be a douche. Absolute heaviest I got was 197.6 pounds, which is crazy. Like for my body type and my height the body fat percentage that I was at, like, that is a lot. And I would get like winded walking up steps. So I kind of dialed it back. I was around like 190-ish for a while. And then I wasn't in a surplus. Well, I was in a surplus, but I wasn't in as much of a surplus for probably the next like year and a half. Again, this all dates back over the course of like 4 years or so. And then I was earlier this year, I want to say around the end of May. One day I literally like, cause I knew when I got this heavy, I knew that I was gonna eventually shed it. Like I knew I wasn't gonna hang on to it, and I was going to have to face the reality of when I lose this weight, I'm not gonna be able to lift as heavy. And that was like the hardest thing for me to do at the time. So like I was, let's say hypothetically, I was bench pressing 500 pounds. I'm not, and never was. But I knew in my head, okay, I'm bench pressing 500 pounds right now. When I cut, I'm only gonna be able to bench 400 pounds. So I need to be okay with the amount of weight that I can lift mentally when I cut this weight. So this year, towards the end of May, I had ended up quitting the job that I was at, and I had a 3-week off between the last job that I worked and the job that I work now. And at my previous job, I was only able to go to the gym like 4 times a week. And that was, I wasn't sleeping as much, like diet wasn't nearly as good. I was still hitting macros, but I was in a caloric surplus. So with this time frame, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the gym every single day now. Like with this, I'm gonna have so much time on my hands. Like, let me get back in here, see if I can manage to go to the gym every single day, just to mentally like get that through my head. So starting on June 1st, I cut out a bunch of stuff, calories wise. And then I also cut out a bunch of carbs, because I'll go into that, but I cut out carbs like by 90%. So over the course of that month, I was still hitting macros. I was still getting like 200 grams of protein a day. Mind you, I'm not even 200 pounds, so that like 0.8 grams of protein per pound or whatever it is, I was still over that. So I was recovering fine. And from June 1st to, I wanna say like mid-July, I don't know the exact time frame, but it was somewhere around a month. I was hopping on the scale every single morning, just about like checking myself, making sure I was going down, 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 down. And I went from like 192 pounds down to, again, this is, I'm weighing myself at the beginning of the day, so I'm like 5 pounds heavier at night. But from 192 down to 159 on wake up in about a month and a half. And I know to some people it's gonna be like that, it's physically not possible without steroids or without like starving yourself, without doing something like that. And I'm telling you, that is exactly the case. Like I was not starving myself, I was not taking anything. So that's where I'm kind of now like, okay, I know what I'm doing, and I know myself well enough to be able to like hopefully give some advice. I am not a trainer, I'm not a nutritionist, I am not any of these things. I have just been doing this for a really long time, and I am not here to bullshit people. That's the difference. So right now I hang around, like, since it's winter, I put probably like 5 to 7 pounds back on, just because the lowest I got down to was 158, and at that point I just felt like I didn't have like enough energy to kind of like go about my day. So when I want to, I'll cut back down to that if I want to. But the first thing I want to talk about is that, because a lot of people don't understand, they get in the mindset of feeling like intimidated and not knowing how to like either lose weight or like gain muscle and things like that. And I just want to touch on the like losing weight part. And unless you are the person that is diagnosed with something where it's harder for you to lose weight, it is quite literally proven you don't have to worry about when you eat. That does not matter. Theoretically, for just weight purposes, that doesn't pertain to muscle mass though, you could eat 1,000 calories of donuts a day, gonna be really hard on your heart, and 1,000 calories of chicken a day, and weight wise, it's gonna be the same thing, because all it is, literally, all it is, calories in, calories out, and whatever you're burning off throughout the day. That is it. Now, when you go deeper into it, you start getting into micronutrients, macronutrients, things like that. So your macronutrients, protein, carbs, fat, things like that. That's how you're gonna recover from the gym, or just day to day. That's how you're gonna recover. Obviously, protein is extremely important. If you're looking to be a little bit more lean, you wanna have a high protein diet, and high protein, low calorie diet. That's it. But you also want carbs in there, because for one, you need carbs for brain function. I don't care what anybody says. If anybody tries telling you that you do not need carbs, they're an idiot. That is the most important thing. You need them for brain function. It helps you think better. And also, you need carbs for your body to be able to move the protein throughout your body and actually get the protein to your muscles to recover. So eating just 200 grams of protein but no carbs is not gonna be as effective without the carbs, because your body's not actually getting the protein to your muscles. And then eating fat. Eating fat does not make you fat. That's not how that works. Trans fats, different. But fat from like a steak or something like that, that's not gonna make you fat. I feel like a lot of people already know that, but I just said it in case. So that's like the basics of macronutrients. And a general rule of thumb, which I go over it, I don't know what other people do, even Now, I weigh around 167 pounds, something like that, end of day again, so wake up like 162. I'm minimum 170, 180 grams of protein a day, every single solitary day. Sometimes that goes over 200, depending on if I feel like I need it. That's because I know myself. I know what I feel and what I physically need. Micronutrients, I'm just gonna sum it up as vitamins. So that's gonna be how you feel. Take an example. Vitamin D. Get that from the sun, or you could take it as a supplement. It's gonna make you feel better. You're going to feel better from vitamin D. Couple other things that I take. I started taking Tongkat Ali again. And a lot of the stuff that I take, there's arguments on whether or not they even work. However, my argument to that is even if it is just a placebo effect, it still works. But I truly do think that everything that I take works. Like physically, it works. It little bit. All of them, it is a little bit. It's kind of like comparing yourself to taking creatine. Creatine by itself is not going to make you jacked or anything like that. But if you combine that little, creatine with good diet, good workouts, good recovery, eating the right things, knowing when to give yourself rest days, and all these other little things, it all piles up, and that's how you get kind of the best version of yourself. And even I still have a ton of room for improvement. I am by no means saying that I am anywhere near the top of, my natural ceiling. Yeah, I would say that I'm probably about 60 or 70% of the way there, minimum. But back to the main point, if you are bigger and you are trying to lose weight but keep on muscle mass, it is what I have told so many people, because at this point in my life, I have had people come to me now for advice, asking me, what do I do? What are my workouts? Things like that. And I always preface it by saying, I'm me. I understand me. I understand how my body works. I don't know if the things that I do are going to affect somebody the same way. It's probably not. You're not going to get the same exact results, but you could pull from it little things that I do and combine it into your own thing and figure out what works for yourself. But again, if you're bigger, you're trying to stay lean, if you're bigger and you're trying to cut, but you want to stay lean, you want to keep on muscle mass, high protein diet, low calorie diet. That's it. That's the main thing. And then you want to dive into, okay, well, how do I keep it as a low calorie diet, but high protein? It feels impossible. And this is where I feel like I kind of take an advantage over people. I drink 2 protein shakes a day, every single solitary day. I was at 3. And before people start coming for me, I am not talking about throwing 3 scoops of whey protein into a blender with whole milk, banana, strawberries, and like this fat protein shake. It's literally like this much water, 1 scoop of isolate, and chug it. That's it. After my meals. Sometimes I will drink 3, but it's really just like I'm taking 3 protein scoops a day. And yes, now I'm also gonna have people, well, protein powder is bad for you. Well, yeah, everybody's a fucking expert. There's people that say creatine is bad for you because your body naturally produces it. And there's been countless studies done that show there is absolutely no adverse long-term effects as long as you're drinking enough water and you're not sitting there taking 30 grams a day. Too much of anything is bad. It's the same thing as the studies done on like energy drinks. Now granted, the ones that are loaded with sugar, probably not too good. But sugar-free energy drinks, bro, just don't drink 4 of them a day. That's where people start misconstruing things and they don't understand that too much of these things is what is going to hurt. But as far as that advantage goes, a lot of people, to be quite honest, their stomach just kills them if they were to drink that many protein shakes a day. And I'm also at 3 yogurts a day. Oikos specifically, sugar-free. Again, another thing, it's too much of a... Dude, I've been doing this for years. I have gotten blood work done. Knock on wood. I'm not saying I'm invincible. I am not. But I feel great a lot of the time. And I've made a lot of progress in the gym. Again, I'm not saying that you have to do this. I'm telling you what I do. Pull from it, take what you will. I feel like that kind of simplifies that point. I definitely would like to make another one of these videos, but like go even deeper into this. Another thing I wanted to touch on, when I was cutting, I went from sugar drinks to sugar-free stuff. 0 sugar Gatorade, 0 sugar orange juice. Well, orange juice light. I think there's like a little bit of regular sugar in it. That's pretty much the only things that I drink. I don't really drink diet sodas or anything like that. And another thing I want to touch on now that I've brought that up. Some people want to act like doctors in the comment. Not of this video, but of just stuff that I've seen over time. Sugar-free stuff is even worse than the actual sugar stuff. If you do a fucking Google search on the ingredients of what you're drinking, you're gonna find out that sugar-free stuff isn't all the same thing. There's different types of artificial sugars. The worst one for you, which a lot of people think is in every single sugar-free item on the planet, aspartame. I don't know. That one is bad. You don't want too much of that. That's what's found in diet sodas. It's been linked to like schizophrenia, cancers, things like that. That stuff, in theory, yes, you want to stay away from that. However, this 0 sugar Gatorade, 0 sugar orange juice, I guess depending on what kind of orange juice you get, that contains sucralose. Regular sugar is sucrose. Again, there's basically no calories in it. One of the adverse effects of people having too much sucralose is that it hurts their stomach and messes with their gut health. If you don't feel like you're getting stomach aches from it, you're fine. They've done tons of studies on it, most of which the negative effects of it, and I hope I'm right, I'm not a doctor, but from everything that I have found, there's not too many adverse side effects of just drinking that versus sucrose, which is loaded with calories and in turn could make you fat and lead to other health problems, things like that. And I'm also just gonna kind of like preface myself here, I am not saying I'm the healthiest person on the entire face of the earth. I have videos on my channel literally called How to Black Out, and those are not jokes. Those are videos of me blacking out, but that is what I do 10% of the time. The other 90 is this kind of stuff. I don't even remember what I was saying initially. This is not good. I should have made bullet points for this. I should have known I was inevitably gonna get off track in this. All right, either way, I guess I'm just gonna move on to the supplements that I take. So first and foremost, creatine. As I mentioned earlier, 5 grams a day. People talk about a loading phase when you first start taking it. You don't really need to do that. It's kind of unnecessary. Your body's just gonna accumulate it over time and it's gonna get into your muscles and everything like that, and you don't have to worry about hurting your stomach and also risking kidney stones and shit like that, because that absolutely can happen from it if you're not drinking enough water. And when you're taking 25 grams a day off the rip, higher chance of that happening. So I would just stick with 5 grams. Some people say cycle it, some people don't. I have cycled it before. I'll take it for however long, stop taking it for like 3 weeks to a month or something like that, and I absolutely noticed a difference in the gym. But apparently, I don't know if it's true, but apparently your body can kind of start getting used to it and the effects of it start to kind of like dim down, so you want to give your body a break and then throw it back in. Protein shakes, I already talked about that. But then the actual pills. First thing on the list, 1 a day multivitamin. I've taken one of those since I was like 12 years old. Just feels good. I mean, could be a scam. I think it's not, at least for myself personally, so that's something that I take every single day. And as I go down the list, it's gonna get more and more complicated on, well, just hold on. Next thing, fish oil. Been taking that every day for like 12 years now too, something like that. You don't necessarily need it if fish is in your diet, but I don't eat fish every single solitary day, so I take that. Lowers your cholesterol, that's one of the main things. Third thing, L-arginine, L-citrulline, and L-carnitine. All of these things kind of work together. They improve blood flow. I don't feel like Googling it, just you can look it up yourself. It's either L-citrulline gets converted to L-arginine or L-arginine gets converted to L-citrulline. Either way, I have looked into it. You're supposed to, well, you're not supposed to, but it's effective. It's more effective to take both of these supplements together. And I'm pretty sure L-carnitine is in the same category there, I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a doctor. Tungcat Elite. Simple terms, natural test booster. Complicated terms, it lowers cortisol in your body so you're able to recover better, and the less cortisol you have, as long as you lower it, you're not completely taking it out, it increases testosterone. Stress can greatly reduce testosterone. Fenugreek seed. Why the hell do I take this? Managing blood sugar, cholesterol, boosting testosterone, libido in men. It doesn't really matter, I'm not. And then the next stuff down there, that's for women. Potentially reducing body fat. Sea moss. Again, this is all capsules. I don't take like powder of this stuff. Boosts immunity, supporting thyroid health, improve digestion, heart health, enhancing skin and hair, providing energy, B vitamins, iron, things like that, and potentially fighting inflammation. So some of this stuff is not necessarily, it's not all about lifting, but it just makes me feel better, and some of it is for stuff like that, like skin, hair, things like that. Maca. Boosts energy, stamina, mood, libido again, things like that. Vitamin B6, that's good for, again, hair, skin, things like that. Vitamin D, I mentioned that earlier. During the winter, actually, the vitamin D from the sun, depending on where you're at in the world, there comes a certain point in the year when it changes seasons, I think to like fall or winter, I don't know which one, but your body can no longer absorb the vitamin D from the sun because it's further away. So that's why I take that in the winter. You don't really need to take it in the summer. Magnesium L-threonate. Shockingly enough, as much as he posts videos about him being a dumbass, I legitimately learned about this supplement through him. Togi posted a video like months back and he talked about taking it, and I have actually noticed a bit of a difference. Again, could be placebo, maybe not. It's really expensive. It is literally the most expensive supplement that I get. It's like $70 for a bottle of pills, and you have to take 3 of them in a serving size. It's ridiculous. But this differs from regular magnesium because it passes the blood-brain barrier and it makes you like less anxious, lowers cortisol, things like that. So that's more of like a mental boost more so than physical, but I take it. And since I'm talking about my full stack, you absolutely probably don't need to take this. I take a baby aspirin. I had a blood clot a few years ago. I got this thing called Factor 5 Linen. Makes my blood clot easier. Found that out in the hospital. So at first I had to go on actual blood thinners. Once the blood clot went away, I was prescribed to take a baby aspirin for the rest of my life. And I don't really mind taking it because I already take a bunch of pills anyway, and it's actually good for your heart too. So whatever. So that's the full stack there. That's exactly what I take. Again, I'm not sitting here saying go throw all of these things into your regular diet. It probably won't have the same effect on whoever watches this. I am me. I am different than other people. You're different than me. You could take different things than me. It's gonna have a different effect on you than it would on me. It could be better for you. It could be worse for me. That's the gist of it there. Now, as far as what I do for my workouts, it's always changing, but right now, this is what I'm doing. Again, it changes week to week for me. Don't take every single thing that I do, this is what I do. Pull from it and make your own workout plan. Generally Sunday, I'm not in. Kind of a recovery day for me. I've cut at this point enough to where I can feel like I can take a rest day. Monday, I have a dedicated arm day. I will literally go in and nail biceps and triceps for an hour and a half. Is that necessary? No, but the pump is incredible. I do way too much volume on that, by the way. Don't take my advice. I'm telling you what I do. I do skull crushers for triceps, preacher curls, standing preacher curls with a preacher curl bar. That's what I mean by that. Straight bar tricep pushdowns, single arm cable curls, rope tricep pushdowns, rope hammer curls, rope overhead tricep extensions. And then I burn out with bicep curls on dumbbells. I'll start out with like 30s and then I'll just keep going down until like 17.5 pounds until I literally just can't curl it anymore. For me, I've noticed great results from that. You're gonna maybe tear your bicep if you do all that if you're not doing anything right now. I would strongly suggest slowly easing into something like that if you want to take my workout. Tuesday, I hit legs. Barbell squats, hack squats, dumbbell RDLs, hamstring leg curls, leg extensions. Again, too much. I got time on my hands right now. I do a lot. Oh yeah, and I do abs like 2 to 3 times a week right now too. I just do leg lifts. That's it. Right now, I do hit chest on Wednesdays. I'll probably just do chest. I do chest and shoulders, but the only thing I do for shoulders on that day is just lat raise. So I start out with flat bench, then I do incline barbell Smith, flies, lat raises. That's usually it. All of these things, by the way, I'm doing like anywhere from 3 to 4 sets of. Flat barbell bench, I do a lot of sets. I do like 5 or 6 sometimes. Again, I know it's too much, whatever. It's for my ego. Thursday, I'll normally just do cardio and abs. I'm recovering at that point. I don't really have anything that I could hit. I could do arms again, but on Fridays, I do back and buys, so I'm not gonna go to the gym just to hit triceps.
I'm in the middle of editing this. Don't mind this. I'm washing my sheets.
Completely skipped over what I do for back and buys on Friday. But what I do is T-bar rows. I do like 4 or 5 sets of that. I know, again, too much, whatever. Like 4 or 5 sets of that, wide grip lat pull downs, close grip lat pull downs, and then I do cable rows. And then biceps on that day, I'll normally only do like 2 exercises. I'll do like single arm cable curls and then maybe dumbbell curls. And I'm not doing the same amount of sets on all of these exercises. Like T-bar rows, I do the most of, and then wide grip lat pull downs, I do like 3 or 4 of those. But the close grip, I do like 2 sets, and then the cable rows, I'll do like 1, maybe 2 sets. Enough to where I'm really like frying the hell out of my back. Again, that's what works for me. Just running you guys through what I do. Back to the video. Saturday is kind of like give or take. Depending on how I feel, I'll hit chest and shoulders, but I won't do the same stuff that I'll do on my other chest day. It's not really like a heavy chest day. I'll just do a lot of volume on incline barbell Smith, and then shoulder press, lat raise, face pulls, and maybe a couple sets of flies. That's it. And then I'm back to Sunday at that point. That's what I'm doing right now. That's kind of switches around a little bit here and there. And I'm not saying I always miss Sunday. If I do go on a Sunday at that point, I'll go and just do cardio. So I try to get that in like 2 to 3 times a week. As far as like the amount of reps that I do on things like that, that's always changing. That really, I mean, usually I shoot at the start of an exercise, do like a set of 12, set of 10, set of 8, set of 6. I know that's like a really like amateur way of describing it, and like it sounds like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That's the best way I could explain it. I know I sound like a idiot right now, but that goes for all of my exercises basically. I'm really trying to think if I missed on any points here. I don't think I did, at least for now. But if this is a video that gets a pretty good response and, you know, people have questions or anything like that, I would love to answer them. I love talking about this stuff. I really truly do. And I'm also not here trying to be like a fitness influencer or something like that. I don't see myself as that. I just want to entertain people, but also I feel like this could help, and it's a huge part of my life, and it's made my life way better. So why not pass the information on? Not in the way of fucking trying to make a course or trying to mislead or anything like that. And of course, the pictures that I showed earlier, the first one is a horrible picture. It's in broad daylight. Lighting isn't great. It's not edited at all. The second one that I used, it's after I worked out. It's slightly edited, not in terms of, you know, the size or anything like on my body, but I changed like small little things like sharpness. And I think I did something to like the contrast in it to make it like a little bit darker, just so some stuff pops more, but it's not a heavily edited picture in the slightest. It's very, very like, I'll probably end up putting the original and the edited version up on the screen just for comparison. There is one more thing that I wanted to talk about as far as going to the gym. If you are somebody that does not work out at all and you're out of shape in one way or another, all you're gonna need at the beginning is for one, to be consistent. It is so much better for you to consistently go 2 to 3 times a week rather than go every single day 1 week and then not go for 2 weeks and then do it again. That's not gonna work out as well. Get into the habit of going 2 to 3 times a week. That's all you're gonna need. It's gonna shock your body. You're gonna notice improvements off of just that, as long as you're dieting right and you're recovering right. That goes for everybody. That's not strictly for me. That goes for everybody. Over time, you're probably gonna fall in love with it. At that point, you can start start going more and more and more and working out longer and longer and longer and understanding how you feel to reduce injury and things like that. You kind of slowly start to get addicted to it and things of that nature. But a big part of working out and things like that I have learned myself, I don't know if other people really care about it, is understanding when your body is physically telling you to rest or if you're mentally telling yourself you need a rest day. That's a huge thing to me. I think that is. It could sound really stupid, but I think that's huge. Understanding a very clear difference between I don't really feel like going to the gym today, so I'm not, versus my body is screaming for me to not work out today. I need to take a break. Once you're at that point, you want to take 2, maybe even 3 days off. That's for me. Some people need a week or a deload week. I don't really do that myself. I know I should, but I don't. The recovery is literally more important than the workouts, as long as you're doing the workouts right. But I think that's just about everything there. So if this turns out to be a video that gets a good response and people have questions and things like that, I'm more than happy to post another one. I love talking about this stuff. Everybody kind of has their own journey with it, so it's kind of cool. Everybody has a unique experience with this kind of thing. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys made it all the way to the end, remember, drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.